Okay, here we have the Hyper 212 Evo. Nice new cooling fan and the PC that it's going to go into. And right there you can see the rig that it's going to. I've already got one side panel pulled off on the left there, my fan on the side. And on this side you can see that where the motherboard attaches, it is a solid plate, so I am going to have to actually remove the motherboard fully in order to be able to attach the back plate. I'll show you in a moment. There's a solid back plate that goes on the back of the motherboard behind the CPU unit that is going to support it so that it's not pulling and warping on your electronics. Okay, this is the Hyper 212 Evo, and if you open the box, what you get in here is a very nicely set up deal. All the little goodies come in this box that comes right out of the top from Cooler Master. You want to make sure that you take this out with the correct orientation so that you don't dump it as soon as you get it out. So I'm going to set that off to the side. It comes, at least the model that I got, came with one fan. There is a model that comes with two fans. This one does come with the attachments I'll show you in just a moment, so that you can put a second fan on the back if you want to. These little brackets right here, there's a set of silencing pads that you can put in there, and the screws that you're going to need. Here's the bottom. As you can see, let me get that up there, it's kind of hard to do upside down. You got nice flat pipes, and that right there is what makes this thing so good. There is a lot of flatness, there is no spacing, and that is part of the secret as to why this thing works so well. So it has a really good Cooler Master fan. You can take this off to install, or you can try installing without it according to the directions. They do want you to remove this to install it, and of course your four-prong connector for your fan. The back plate is in the plastic on the back side. It's in there really tight. Chances are it's not going to fall out on you. But still, you know, if you're looking around for your plate, that's where it is. You know, somebody might accidentally toss it aside, but that is what you need to go onto the back of the motherboard. Let me set this down here for a moment. This comes in the box. This is going to set over top in here. This is going to go inside there, and then you have to set this little notch on the bottom right in the hole. And if you don't get it in the hole that's in there, there's a little hole in here, and there's no way to really get it angled so you can see it on the camera. But there's a hole there, and there is a little piece that sticks out right there. That needs to set in the hole that is in there. And once you get it in there, you know, then you spread it out to the proper width for you know, for your board. This is set up to work for the LG 1150, the 55, the 56, as well as the 2011. It can also work on AMD processors. This is the nice little contraption. Instead of giving you a whole bunch of loose screws, it comes in this nice little deal. The instructions, of course, I've taken out. You get some Cooler Master thermal paste. This is like, it operates like a little socket along with a Phillips head screwdriver, so that you can turn on the screws, which are buried down in there. The screws are in there, and you have, these are the shorter ones for the 2011 series. These longer, deeper ones are for the 1150, 55, 56 series. There's also 4 little screws that are right here, and some little it's either styrofoam or rubber, but it's meant to go, if you choose to use the additional plates, it fits in there so that you don't get vibration between the plastic edge and the other thing. I don't plan on putting a second fan on, at least right now. Maybe once I get it in, maybe I'll change my mind. But this is what you get in there, and I was rather impressed, you know, with the fact that they didn't just use a whole bunch of little baggies. I know that might be a minor thing. Let me pop the camera off here real quick. Okay, I've got the motherboard out, and you know, as you can see, I got the P8 P67 Deluxe Asus. The original stock fan is still on there. In order to remove that, you're going to need to pop this post here by turning it, that one, and that one. Pop those 4, and then pull it off. And then I'm going to have to clean up the thermal paste that is on there. It's very important to use some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip to clean the paste off the CPU before applying the new stuff. Over here is my case, and if you guys have never done this before, and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I get my motherboard out, you can see down in here there are posts. Okay, there's 6 of them. This particular case is set up, I can put anything in it that I want, a full-size ATX, a mini, an ultra mini, but for mine there were 6, and there are little screws. There, one is right there, another is at the corner, and you can find these on your motherboard, and all you're gonna need is a regular Phillips head screwdriver to take those out. And when they come out, if your board is like mine, the screws are going to look a little similar to this. They have, they have a little, you can see that little red thing that's on it. I'll get that out of there in just a second. But it's just a regular Phillips head screw with a little red deal on it to reduce vibration on the motherboard. You also, back here is where your video cards and stuff, your video card will be going into a port like this. If you have additional cards, you know, they would set down here below it, and they will attach over here, and you're going to need to take a Phillips head screwdriver and undo the screw. There's a screw there, screw there. I had another one I had to do down here, and you just unscrew those, and then remove the cards from the motherboard. All these cables, you have your power cables. You're going to want to detach all those, detach your SATA and everything else. If you don't remember what goes to where on your motherboard, then label them. Use some twisty ties, some stickers, a marker, whatever you need to. Myself, I've done this enough. I know exactly where everything goes, so I won't have to label it. Hopefully I won't forget anything. But this is the power port for the fan right up here. You can see where that's plugged in. You're going to have to disengage that by just yanking it off, and then undo your things. So I will be back in just a moment after I've actually gotten this removed. Alright, now as you can see here, all you got to do is twist this with your finger, twist that, and then you pull up. Alright, pull up on all four, and then that whole thing just lifts right off. And as you can see, I've got thermal paste. Now you notice this right here? Do you see how it's in a circle? And you can see the little lines and little grooves in it. Those are all air bubbles. That's very bad for CPU heat transfer. This is the problem with the dot method. I will not be using the dot method. When it comes to proper application of thermal paste, you are going to find opinions are like assholes on the internet and among techs, and there kind of is a right answer, but it is an opinion based thing. But you have to think of the purpose of the thermal paste. The thermal paste is to aid in heat transfer and to keep your cooler on there and to keep contact. If you have air bubbles, that's bad because air is a poor conductor of heat. So what you want is a nice thin solid layer that goes for all four corners, not just a dot in the middle, because if your CPU is setting on this, or your fan is setting on there, and let me get this up here and let it focus where you can see that. You see all those little things? That wasn't transferring heat very well. That's why I was having trouble on my gaming videos, and my CPU temp kept spiking. Right there is why. Because this right here, that's not solid for a contact. It's got all kinds of little air bubbles, and it's not one smooth continuous layer. That's a great reason why a lot of people do not like the whole just single dot method. Ideally, what you want to do is take, put some on here, and then take like a credit card or something and smear it across, and then hit all four corners. Because with this right here, if your unit like this one I'm about to put on actually can contact all four corners of the CPU, you would have a different transfer here, and there's a ridge right there. I could feel it. It would actually be lifted up off of it, not even making contact. You want this to be in direct contact with the cooler and the copper pipes. Now we don't need to mess with this because we're not removing the CPU. So what I'm going to do, I got myself some isopropyl alcohol. Hopefully that's not upside down. It might be, because I got the camera set off to the side. And I've got some Q-tips. I am just gonna put some alcohol inside the cap, and then I'm gonna dip my Q-tips into it. I'm going to set that off to the side, and then I'm going to start cleaning this stuff up. And this is going to take a little bit. But you can see it's actually coming off pretty well. And look at that nasty gunk coming off there. And it's all hardened up. I'm going to use the other end that's dry to just keep it off, to make sure that I don't really get... Oh wow, look at that. I guess it sucked up enough alcohol that was excess sitting around there that it's continuing to clean. But anyways, it's cleaning up pretty well. Let me get a new Q-tip here. You can see all the nasty gunk that it got off there. And a lot of people will choose to use their own special thermal paste and buy some of the higher end stuff. I'm not going to do that primarily because of money. And I honestly don't think it's really worth it unless you're trying to get every little degree out that you can, if you're maybe doing like a super heavy overclock or something. The difference between the top end thermal pastes and the stuff that Cooler Master gives you is going to be somewhere between 1 to 3 degrees Celsius, and that's just not enough of a difference for me personally to justify wasting another $20–30. You know, I just, times are tight for a lot of people, which is one of the reasons why I actually am doing this, that instead of buying a whole new CPU or anything, because I have the 2500K that comes at a base clock of 3000, I can OC that sucker to 4000 if I have a good CPU cooler. So this CPU cooler, you know, I can't remember what it cost me, 20–30 bucks, something like that, maybe 40. I'd have to go back. I bought it a while ago. But for that minimal investment, which is a good thing no matter what CPU you have on there, I can extend the life of my current CPU and jack it up to 4000 and outdo a lot of i7s. You know, so it's a good bang for my buck move doing this. I'm going to go ahead and I am leaving my my sniper memory in here. That G-Skill sniper memory, that stuff rocks. Really good stuff. Alright, so now I've got that on there. The next thing that I need to do, and there is a good set of instructions that comes with it. Tells you, and it's written for both Intel and AMD. You can see the AMD stuff there. First thing they have you do is remove the fan, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And they kind of do some stuff out of order, in my opinion, because they tell you for step 2 to put the thermal paste on and peel the thing off and set it there. That's a fucked up order, because they don't have you putting the bracket on until down here at 4 and 5. What I would say to do is put your back bracket on first. So I would do steps 4 and 5 first. You know, so you're going to take your large posts, put them in the holes, put the bracket on the back, because these posts is what provides what you need to put the nut on the bracket on the back. So we will do that, and then after that is installed, then I will put the thermal paste on and do this, because it doesn't make sense to do step 2 before you got the bracket on there. You know, that, I mean, I don't want my thermal paste drying out. Alright, I think their instructions were a bit out of order and misguided. So, alright, I'm going to grab my box here and get out the pieces that I need. This is what they call part F, and it just has a little Phillips head on that side, and on the other side is for the nut. And I'm going to get out my posts, which are going to drop right into the 4 holes that your old stock cooler was going in. Now, when I go to turn this, yeah, some of these might fall out. And by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, the setup I have for installing this is not the most ideal. Normally I would have the plastic static free bag underneath this board, but we recently moved and I have not found all of my stuff yet, and I could not locate where it was, so I'm just pressing those in there. I'm going to set this off to the side, and then I will set that up, and you can see, oh, if I pull it down here, you can see where those, oh, I just pushed it out, where those screws are coming out now. Alright, give me just a second to locate that one that, there it is. Okay. Alright, and now I will get my plate out. Okay, and that plate which way is that going to set? There, on this plate, let's see if you can see it there, if I turn it right, there are 3 sets of holes up and down there. The middle one is, well, it's not really full holes, it's like little bumps in there, and the one in the middle is the one that you're going to use for the 1150, 55, 56 series for the Intels. Okay, I just saw something that I did not see before, so instead of putting those in first, I'm going to have to pull those back out. There is a flat side on these screws, or on these standoffs. Let me get that here where you can see it. You can see, if I can get the camera to focus on it, there is a flat side right there. The rest is threaded and round, and right there is a flat side. So when you put this in here, you have to orient it so that the flat side will match the flat side on the plate. There's a flat side and a round side. So there, now it goes just fine. And you can see with the way this thing's designed, you see those, it's like a tripod. There's 2 there, 1 there, from where the screws from your CPU unit come on. And this thing is built the same way, so that's how you know whether you have this plate oriented correctly. When you match it up, these holes are going to go right over where those are, so that there's no problem with it. So alright, I got that one on, and now I will get the other one on. Oh. Okay. Now I got those. What is that hitting? It looks like, for me, on this particular motherboard, this little plate is going to be just sitting right above a little screw. Hopefully that's not going to cause me a problem. I'm going to go ahead and just finger tight put one of these nuts on. Just snug it with the finger. And then I'll do the same thing down here. Just gently snug it. You know, it's just enough that this plate isn't going to, move on me. That's all I'm really concerned about right now. So now I got the bottom two posts, and see, where's the flat? The flat side there is on the outside. Okay, so if you've got that post turned the wrong way, you know, you'll have a little bit of trouble trying to get that in. As soon as you get it twisted the right way to where the flat side matches the flat side on the plate, it'll pop right in. Now I know there's other videos showing people installing the Hyper 212 on YouTube, but I'm also aware that they're much shorter, and they don't necessarily show somebody actually putting in each of the bolts. I know everybody likes something a little different. Myself, I prefer more information. I'm a scientist. I'm a molecular biologist and a chemist. So to me, the more information, the better. Even if it's something that I feel the need to skip over. You know, I would rather have it there so that if I want to go back and look, I can. Alright, so now I have all these on there. You can see, if I scoot this up here, you can see right where those line up with leaving a hole for where the bolts from the CPU come through, or the screws. I'm guessing the reason for that is so that you don't end up with any issue. And it provides a little bit of clearance off that. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my Phillips head screwdriver and that thing, and I'm going to use that as they intended to snug it. When you do this, you want to use these, you want to use the cross method. Do this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. It doesn't really matter which one you start with, just as long as you go in that pattern. And feels like I already got those pretty snug just with my fingers. I'll hold this on the back just to make sure. It doesn't feel like it's moving at all. And I actually could use a little fatter Phillips than the one that I'm using. I think maybe a full-size screwdriver Phillips may actually be better. The one that I have in my hand is one that is actually for my CPU components. Alright, so now I'm done with that. I'm not going to need that again, I don't believe. Alright, so that is now on there. That plate is there. There is looks like a little film that's on here. Doesn't seem like it's supposed to come off. in the instructions, just to double check, it doesn't say anything about taking that gray film off there. Matter of fact, there's a warning not to remove the film. At least that's what it appears to be showing. Let's see if I can get this here. There's like this little picture. It appears to be telling you not to remove that film. So I'm not going to remove it. You know, they tell you to remove that fan, but I'm not so sure that you actually, well, I suppose you're probably going to need to get to the screws. So I'll take that off there. To get the fan off on the side, you're just supposed to take your finger under these little latches. You just gently pop that open, one side swings out, and bam, it's off. That simple. So you can see that little puppy, and all your pipes run up through there. And then we got this. You don't want to remove this until you're ready to place it and you have your thermal paste on there. So the thermal paste is what we're doing next. I'm going to set this off to the side. And I am going to need a little piece of plastic to... and by the way, this cap, when it comes off, it's already cut, so you don't have to worry about cutting that. Let's see if I have, you know, I think I actually do have an old card here, or maybe so that I don't be a dumbass and show my my credit card on the fucking internet. Oh man, got my USCCA card. Everybody should be a member of that. Let's see, give me just a moment to find a old, there I go. I found an old flimsy card to use. Alright, I'm just going to take an old credit card. No, it's actually not a credit card, it's like an old coverage card. And use that to just right across there. Some people like a line method. Some people do a dot in the middle, but I already showed you what the problem is with doing a dot. We're not going to do a dot. I'm going to start... Oh, I probably put a little too much there, but I will quickly take care of that. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I am going to gently make a very thin layer all the way across this. Now some people will disagree and they'll claim, oh, you don't need to do that, you don't need to be that that worrisome with it, but I disagree. I already showed you what the problem was, and alright, so now I got that thermal paste on there. I got it in a nice line. Now also you want that layer to be about as thin as you could possibly make it. So I got a good amount on there, and also when I put this CPU cooler on, especially because of the weight, it's gonna smush it out. So I'm gonna go over it again to it while pressing a little harder than I did the first time. so that I could remove a little more. You see, I got some more on there. So I used a little more than necessary at first to get good coverage. And then now what I'm doing is I'm thinning it out. And I'm starting to see a little bit of metal showing through here and there. So I've got a nice, good, uniform, thin layer. I know on the camera you're not going to be able to see, but I can see little hints of the metal at certain points. So I know I have a nice, very thin layer. You want to make sure that you have total coverage, and I'm just going to clean up here where I got a little on this. I don't really have to do that. I'm just particular that way. There's no real reason that I have to clean up the excess that I got on over here, you know, on the little device that holds your CPU down. But you know, I'm going to do it just to keep things nice and neat. Alright, so alright, that's on there now. So the next thing at this point is going to be to place the actual unit on. And it says, please peel off label before you use it. If you don't, yeah, you're really going to regret it, because it won't be long before you smell something nasty burning and melting if you screw that up. So now I've got that. Of course, this is the way you want to orient it, unless you have something unusual. I suppose if you could fit it, and if the clearance worked, I mean, there's no real reason why you couldn't do that right there. I personally wouldn't. I would do it this way, specifically so that the direction of the fan air is going to blow over my RAM. And if I do this right, and if it fits, not only is this fan going to cool my CPU, it's also going to cool my RAM, and I'm going to get a RAM cooler out of it too. So now I'm going to look down here off to the side and make sure that I am getting this block like dead on. It looks like that block is the same size as your CPU. So I am going to get that on there. Okay? Once it's sat, you do not want to pull this off. It's kind of sliding when I take my hand off. It kind of glides a little on that paste. You know, so I mean, you can kind of wiggle it, smear it around a little, but you do not want to take it back off, because if you do, you are going to introduce air gaps, which I already showed you earlier. Those are very bad. You want to avoid those at all costs. Alright, so now my RAM's blocking on this side because I chose not to remove it. So I'm going to have to take this and introduce it through the back side. Alright, so now I just found something here, is that when I went to put that in, I was having a little bit of trouble with the way that it was placing. And previously I'd said that that little hole has got to go within the hole in the center that's under there. The other thing is there's a little post that sticks up too. There is an indentation. See if you guys can see. There is an indentation right here. So not only do you have this thing, you have these indentations on the side. And when you get the spread that properly fits your CPU motherboard setup. One of those is going to be in position for the post, and I had it spread right, but it wasn't setting correctly on that post when I first put it in, and I noticed it was setting up. When you get it in there correctly, it should set nice and flat and drop in. So this is the spread that I'm going to need, but in order to get it through, I'm going to have to, go one in. So then once I do this and then I spread it back out, then it should set there. And then if I look under while that drops in the center, and there it goes, it should, one of those ought to line up. And I had it just a second ago before I came on here. watch it not cooperate now that I'm trying to record this. But no, okay, there it is. Alright, it sat right into place, and it is all flush now down in there, and it's like almost impossible to show on the camera. The other thing is that these little screws, they change position. When you push them in, you can slide where they go. There are 3 little bumps in there, and the middle one is what you need for the 1150 series Intel, which is probably what most people are going to be using that are, installing this. The instructions, if you happen to have an AMD that you're using, the instructions will let you know which one to set it in for that. And notice in here that this one post seems to set a little higher than the others. But for all I can tell, I do have this in here right. So I just got to press down on this leg a little bit to get that screw started. And I'm just kind of starting them with my finger first, and then once I have that, then I will get it. But before I tighten any of this down, I'm going to make dang sure that this thing is properly oriented, and it appears to be, and it looks like I'm in the right spot with the groove. My son took off the flashlight, so I can't very well see for certain that I'm in that groove, but it looks right. Alright, so let's see here. From looking at this, looks like it's set right. And let me take this off the tripod and see if I can get you guys a better look in there. You can see what I'm talking about, that little deal right there. And apparently once you get this in there, you can spin this and twist it and tighten it down. It'll tighten on that spring and it kind of pushes it out. The directions really don't say anything about it, but from handling it, I noticed it. On those, you can see the springs and how it has different size holes. I'm in the middle one on those. And over here, let's see if once it focuses, you can see that little additional post I was talking about right there. And there is a notch that is up under this piece. So not only does this piece here have to fit in the hole directly under it, but you have to get the little notch that's on the underside of this. And that's how you know that you got your arms in the right place. But as you you can see there, it appears to be in the right spot now. So I'm going to go ahead, set this back on the tripod, and I'm going to tighten down my screws. I hope this whole video isn't freaking upside down. I don't know. Suppose I can flip it if it is. Alright, so and again, when you're tightening these down, you want to use the cross pattern. Alright, seems like I got that one. Maybe I should use a bigger screwdriver for this. You know, I think I'm going to, so that I don't strip out my good one. At least for the final snug, I will. Alright, they're all snug. Now, I don't want to ruin my good little one, because it's a little thin. These do, although you can use a Phillips, they do also have a flat head part. So, alright. I am just giving these a final snug with a larger screwdriver because of the amount of vibration that these do go under, and the fact that this damn thing is so freaking big. I want to make sure that this is on there. Now, you don't want to go super tight. You don't want to crank to the utmost of your strength, because you know that those are probably aluminum and not steel, and you will strip them out. Even if you're a bit of a weak guy, you can very easily strip them out. Alright, so that is on there. Now, just need to reattach the fan. CPU fan thing was back there again. So here you just put it on by sliding in one side, and it fits right into the grooves on the fan, and you just put on one side then the other, and it just pops right on there. I mean, the fan installation is super freaking easy. Actually, it looks... Do I want to lower that more or not? No. I'm going to leave it right where it's at. That is just clearing my RAM. That's good. I'm happy with that. In fact, I could maybe scoot it up a tad. It looks good. I do have a blue LED fan that I could put on there if I want to. Here we go. This is going to need to go this way. And again, there are little grooves on this right there and there, so that you make sure that you orient it the right way. and on your bracket there will be a little plastic piece that those grooves have got to go around. You know, and that'll make sure that you get it the right direction. There we go. Alright, so that's it. The CPU fan is installed on the motherboard, and you can see you can turn it up sideways. It's not gonna go anywhere. You know, it is just fine on there, you know, standing upright. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's a monster of a fan, and you can take a look at her, and that is all on there now. And you can see I got just enough clearance over my RAM. So setting it that way, you know, not only is it going to be a CPU cooler, but it is also going to cool my RAM, which is an awesome thing. You know, I don't have to buy any extra RAM coolers, which they do make them, but it's a bit of a pain in the tail to use them or install them. You know, alright, so that's that. Now I'm going to pop that puppy back into the case, and then I will show you the end result. Okay, here is the CPU cooler installed. You can see it right there and right there, and the fan is blowing, if you can see in there, directly over the RAM. It may be a little difficult to see, but that is what it's doing. Come on, focus. There it is. Okay. So you can see now that it's focused. This fan is blowing directly over the RAM, and it's in there, fully installed. The only issue I found is that my case has got this little side fan, and if I put it fully in, that fan bumps, it'll bump it, and it'll stop my side fan. So I'm gonna have to yank that side fan off, and I'll attach it to the back of the CPU. So I will end up with two fans on my CPU. I'm gonna do that, although I'm not gonna include that in this video. So for now, that's that. And you know, so yeah, you kind of heard it rub a little there when it got up beside it. But you know, and there's a front end. I kind of like that on my PC. Looks like a transformer or something. So got that, and it's all in there. My CPU temps, you can see there, it's saying 24 degrees now. That's about 14 degrees Celsius lower than it normally runs. Just setting idle, you know, not doing anything. With the old stock fan, it was running about 38C. And putting this on, I got a 14 degree drop. Now I haven't, you know, jumped into a game or anything else that I've been doing yet, but I'm sure that it's gonna run just fine. So you know, anyways, I thought I would show that to y'all, and you know, let you see what kind of a drop in temp you can expect. It's that my CPU is actually cooler than my motherboard, and that's not normal. That's not the normal case for my PC. You know, my CPU was running at 38, so that's a good improvement, worth the time. So you know, I hope this video helps somebody out, you know, and maybe gives them a little more information than maybe they could have pulled from some of the others. Oh, now that I see that CPU fan, the RPMs that are on it, when I first put it in, it was only running at 600, and when I booted up, that threw an alarm for my PC, so I had to hit F1, go to the BIOS setup, and drop the alarm rate, because with my prior fan it was running somewhere between 23 to 2600 RPMs, maybe a little more when things got cooking. And you know, the BIOS, because it's intelligent, had been set to you know, determine things based on those standards. So I did get a flag when I first booted up, but I just went in there, you know, told it 600, and now it's fine. So you can see the fan speeding up a little there, but the CPU is still staying steady at 24. So anyways, you know, you may have to change your alarm speeds in your BIOS. Shouldn't be a big deal. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And hopefully this helps somebody out there somewhere. And that right there is what's going to happen if Hillary wins the election. We're all going to die. Alright, see you guys later. Have a great night.